On this episode of Punk's Talk Wrestling, Ho Ho Hogan kicks off the show. An incredible match between Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper for the Intercontinental Championship, and everybody leaves happy because it's Christmas. As we review the 2024 holiday edition of Monday Night Raw, I am R.W. Hellborn, one half of your Punk's Talk Wrestling tag team hosts, ascending quote-unquote from Philly. And as always, virtually by my side, 3,500 miles away in London, England, he is my tag team podcast partner, the victor to my corner, the proper prick, CJ Newman!
Very good, an Ascension reference. Did you know, and I really highly doubt you knew this, the WWE estimates that since WWE Monday Night Raw's inception in 1993, that they have served the staff at Raw approximately 169 tons of meat, 51 tons of potatoes, 8,000 cases of vegetables, and 500,000 cookies.
That's a lot of meat and potatoes and cookies.
That's right, and vegetables, canned
and
vegetables apparently.
I skipped out. I totally missed the vegetable part.
Yeah.
I just heard meat and potatoes and cookies.
Yeah, meat and potatoes. And apparently, here's another one, a little bonus one I'll throw at you. Just swing at you.
Okay, a little bonus. A did you bonus.
A did you bonus. That sounds wrong.
That sounds really bad, yeah.
Did you bonus?
Yeah, that could be taken a totally different way there.
So the original name that was proposed by the former Vice President of Business Operations, Dick Glover. Anyway, they were trying to come up with a name for Raw, and Dick Glover blurted out "Uncooked Raw."
Uncooked Raw.
That's how raw it was. It was fucking uncooked meat. You're going to get more raw than uncooked meat, right? It was agreed that the name summed up what the show would be, so they moved ahead with it. But they eventually decided to drop the uncooked part.
Yeah.
Welcome to Monday Night Uncooked Raw. It's
remarkable that it got that far with the uncooked part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we got there.
Yeah. And did you know, fuck it, I'm going to give you 3.
Oh, it's Christmas time,
It's
everybody.
Christmas time. I'm in a given mood. Did you know that the first ever episode of Raw, they're all Raw facts. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Have you noticed? Thanks.
Actually, no, I'm agreeing with you.
Did you know that the first ever episode of Raw was the first ever live WWE television broadcast ever? So we're not counting like pay-per-views, but actual television broadcasts.
Because Saturday night's main event was not live.
Yeah, and Superstar Challenge, they were all recorded. That was the first ever Raw was the first ever live broadcast that they ever made.
Yeah, they were so ahead of their time. Obviously, they went back to not being live for a little while.
They figured out that it wasn't sustainable, and they went. I think late 1993 they moved to recording again, and then didn't go back to live until 1997. So, yeah, there you go. Probably because WCW were kicking their ass, so they needed to do something about it.
They kind of needed to be real live so that it could be real edgy.
Yeah,
or the perception of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's that.
There you go, man. That's there's a whole bunch of information about Raw,
uncooked raw facts for you.
We got a whole bunch of hashtags available on this episode already.
Hashtag Dick Glover.
Hashtag Digibonus. What a great great way. What a great episode already.
Yeah.
This is gonna be.
That's
Strap in for it's the holidays, it's Christmas. Things are just ridiculous, as the Christmas episode of Monday Night Raw always shows us.
And 2014 was no different.
there are shenanigans, there are candy canes, there are various people dressed up as various types of Santas. And
There's Christmas trees, there's presents.
Christmas trees, and there are tables.
There's tables.
There's
with
tables,
bows on them.
and someone is going to knock over the tray of cookies.
Yeah.
Cookies will be spilled. Cookies will be wasted.
Yeah, you're right. I guess they are kind of wasted, aren't they?
They're really wasteful with cookies.
Yeah.
On their holiday Christmas episode.
You know what we should do now, though?
What should we do?
We should get into it. So, if no one tuned in last week, we made the choice to look back at one of the holiday/Christmas editions of Raw. So we did a little dice roll last week, and we landed on October? No, we didn't. We landed on December 22nd, 2014. It was aired from the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis.
It's just Minneapolis.
It's just Minneapolis.
Why is it always sound like they always say Minneapolis? Yeah, people say Minneapolis.
Yeah, we say a lot of things, even our own things, incorrectly.
Okay,
a lot.
That one's always bugged me because I hear it
Minneapolis.
That just sounds like there's a D in the middle almost. Okay. Anyway,
but there isn't.
It's from but there isn't. There isn't. No, you're correct. The Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota, of an attendance of 9,000 people.
That's not bad. For a Monday Night Raw at that time frame, a good, a 10 cap arena,
Yeah, and I think it was very capacity as well because it looked sold out to me. And
they advertised Hulk Hogan.
They
the
did
week before, I'm sure. So of course.
So one quick fact to get into here about this episode of Raw. Is I don't give a fuck about TV ratings, but it's quite an interesting thing to look at. Now,
sure.
So that doesn't matter to me, and honestly, I don't even think it matters to the WWE these days, and I'll get to why in just a second. So, this episode of Raw pulled in an average of 3.7 million viewers, right? Now, average episode of Raw today pulls somewhere between 1.5 to 2 million viewers. Now, here's this. This is crazy. The Raw ratings that they get these days, the Raw viewership of somewhere between 1.5 to 2 million, is considered a really fucking good viewership in this day and age.
Today, because that's the live, and you're talking about the live viewership.
The live
right?
viewership, yeah. Now, if you go back to 9 years ago, this episode of Raw got 3.7 million viewers, and that at the time was considered a really low viewership.
Yeah.
That's because shows you in the last 10 years how much only in the last 10 years how we digest media has drastically changed. Over the years, sorry, I'm moving around here. Over the years, if you go back and watch a lot of, here's the thing. Actually, fuck it. Let's get into the show here. But I will make this point because it relates to the first segment.
Okay.
Oh no, does it relate to the first segment? It doesn't relate to the first segment. But fuck it, because Hulk Hogan's involved. So here's the deal.
Hulk Hogan comes out in full Santa garb. He's not Hulk Hogan. He is Ho Ho Hogan.
Yeah.
And
sure is.
Yeah, but when we first talked to when you first mentioned this, and I, my first instinct was a little groany. Watching this back now, I just want to. I loved it so much because of how much everyone just sold it as is.
The crowd literally chanted "Ho Ho Hogan" as well.
He did not. Yeah, he didn't even. I mean, he even told them, he's like, "I'm not Hulk Hogan. I'm Ho Ho Hogan." Like he was telling the crowd, "Don't treat me like fucking Santa Claus right now. I'm dressed up as Santa Claus. Let's go all in on this bit."
It's
and everybody played the fuck
it was
along,
fun,
and everybody did.
What's great about like any kind of Christmas. Oh my god, my chair just what the fuck? Sorry,
Dude, you're falling apart over there.
You know when like chairs lean back but they kind of lock, right?
Yeah.
I leant back, it didn't lock, and I went fucking flying. All right, I'm okay. What the fuck was I gonna say?
Ho Ho Hogan.
So any kind of Christmas episode of any wrestling show is always taken a bit more in a lighthearted way.
Yes.
You know, remember a few years ago when Mick
shenanigans.
Foley was fucking Santa Claus and he got run over by Alberto Del Rio at the start of the show? Remember that?
Yeah.
Like that's...
I do.
And it was dumb, but it's just like, we got to remember, there's shitloads of kids in the crowd and it's a bit of fun. It's like, it's just a bit of fun, man. It's
exactly.
Christmas.
It's exactly it. It's fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
Relax and have a good time.
Yeah, it's not always about the fucking stories, and just let this one episode be what it's got to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because we'll even get to that. We'll certainly get to that with the main event. Like,
yeah,
you can if you want to be mad about Hulk Hogan dressed up as Santa Claus, then you're just going to be mad about it. But there's no reason. But why?
Yeah.
If you can't enjoy this, I don't know what to do. Stop listening to this podcast. Like, it was brilliant, and I loved it. John Cena, completely selling it as well.
Yeah.
Even Seth was like. Even heel Seth was trying to not sell it, but couldn't. Like, he was still playing along when he came out.
Yeah.
It's the kind of chaos it's a kind of chaos and shenanigans and just silliness that
it was.
makes me love
exactly.
professional wrestling. Anyway, moving on. This is the lead. What do we say about it? I mean, it's Hulk. What more can we say? It's Hulk Hogan.
It was dumb fun. It was Seth Rollins at the start of his singles run here.
Yeah.
You know, clearly
maybe a little long.
I thought it was a bit long, and like he was, Seth was good in moments and like not so good in others. Definitely still finding his feet, but that's okay. He's like super early in his career. So, but this leads obviously to John Cena versus Seth Rollins, and fuck, these guys put on great matches every single time they're in the ring together. So, it was a great match. Oh, one thing I did notice is that Seth Rollins called John Cena a legend in this, and it was 9 years ago. The fact that he was being deemed a legend 9 years ago, that's crazy. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, great match. Always is. Cena did a double AA, which was fucking great. Joey Mercury landed right on top of Jamie Noble with that, and it looked like it fucking hurt.
It did.
I really, really, really realized how much I miss J&J Security.
Yeah, we still see it. Obviously, now there's more. We've got more true-ish factions than we do.
Yeah.
This is a guy with his stooges, his henchmen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is also great because that it really reminded me of Vince and his Stooges.
Yeah.
When he had Briscoe and Patterson as his
exactly.
Stooges. This was just like a younger version of it.
It was,
Anyway,
back to the show.
Back to the show.
I don't know if you made a note of this, but Kane comes on the screen and says "Bar Humbug," and that's it.
Yes, I did see that, but I didn't make a note of it.
Now
that you mentioned it.
Yeah, that just happened, and that was it.
That was it. Put him on,
that, and then show continues.
Yep.
What I put in my notes is the fuck just happened. Yeah. Then we had Fandango versus Jack Swagger. Am I correct? I didn't actually write.
That is correct. Yeah. And this was, and this was just at a time. This was a match. It was mad. It wasn't. Yeah, I don't know what to say about them. Honestly, I don't even.
Well, one thing I did note, and it's they were kind of repackaging his character at the time. This is not even. I don't even fucking remember this at all. By the way.
Yeah, me neither.
Like he didn't have the music that we all know. It was weird. And
were they kind of trying to make him a heel?
He was, I don't. Anyway, regardless, one thing I did notice again
it wasn't working.
Was the change in the fact that with like gimmicks like this and Adam Rose and stuff, we don't get gimmicks like this anymore.
Yeah, you're right. We don't because
like occupational gimmicks.
Yeah,
get me? Like,
yes.
Oh, I'm a dancer, and that's my
gimmick. Yeah, we certainly don't, and it's almost. It went away the same time kind of like the Divas went away too.
It did a bit in a way, yeah. It was because we've moved on to this reality era.
Because people don't buy, because people just don't buy it.
No,
like it's
there's nothing, I think this was like the dying era of those kinds of gimmicks. They clearly were at the bottom of the card, not getting over the crowd.
There didn't seem to be a reason why they were. It didn't seem like there was any point to it. Like
there was no rhyme or reason. Get a story.
Yeah. This was just putting the two guys on TV to fill a spot.
Yeah,
but
we had a little segment there where I think Ziggler is doing a backstage interview and they talk about Ziggler and Harper having a ladder match at TLC.
Oh yeah,
and I remember that match really well, and it's a fucking great ladder match. Like,
this is. I mean, not to skip ahead too quickly, but the IC match later tonight is by far probably hands down the best match of the night.
Oh yeah, and those two had great chemistry with each other as well, Harper and Ziggler. So,
but before we get to that, we got the original New Day Preacher promos.
Yes, we fucking did. But I was not expecting this at all.
No. No.
Who would have thought that this gimmick was going to turn out as over as it did? Not this gimmick, but
not this gimmick,
this team,
just the three of them.
The three of this New Day team, like when they debuted and they were just like, it fell completely on deaf ears. No one could give a crap.
Once again, they were getting.
They were trying to be faces, and they turned them heel, and that's when it worked.
It works every freaking time.
Exactly.
Which is probably why they were trying to turn Adam Rose heel.
Yeah, that's true.
In this next match, but that just didn't work. Like I don't know whatever happened. There was problems with the dude in the bunny suit, and then he beat up the bunny afterwards.
Yeah, I just put the heel turn that no one remembers because I do not ever remember this happening. Like. At all. I was definitely watching wrestling pretty consistently at this point, I feel, and back in 2014.
Well, but they also gave it like this was like 6 minutes or something.
Yeah,
like,
such a short segment.
I don't have. Yeah, I don't know. What I'm looking at, I don't have the times on it,
right?
So
yeah,
I don't know for sure. But I know that there was 12 segments total. Between there were 11 matches on this card.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff. Excuse me. Whew. Yeah, getting worked up.
Then we have
somebody. R-Truth won.
R-Truth, right. He did one like I think with a roll up. I think because of the bunny. I can't even fucking remember. I watched this yesterday.
There was some shenanigans. And and R-Truth won. So put a W in the column for that.
Then we head over to Roman Reigns, still using the Shield gimmick and theme.
Yeah.
It's so weird how Ambrose and Rollins split off and did their own things and reinvented themselves, and Roman Reigns was just stuck with being the one-man Shield.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where did they plan it that way? What was their reasoning why they did it that way?
Yeah. I definitely think regardless of whether it was the plan or not, it definitely hurt him. Like it didn't help him. It certainly seemed to hurt him in the process, but I think it did a lot. I may say it did a lot for his longevity now. I mean, you can't deny where he's at now is way better than where he started. Exactly. And far ahead of Ambrose and Rollins at this point.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I mean, one of them quit, so I think it was like we just said earlier, some people need the script and some people need the crutch. And I think he out of the three of them needed the longevity of the Shield connection.
Yeah. For
his own relevancy. I don't think Roman Reigns on his own without that without that propping him up, would have survived. You know, if they just gave him a whole new package, I think it would have failed completely.
Oh yeah.
You know, he had to, so more so he had to eat a lot of shit during that time. In the same way he ate shit for leaning on the Shield crutch.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, once again, what you can't say it didn't work if you're going for the long play, you know.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, going for the long, like, it's crazy. Like, this is the second or third time that we've gone back and watched an old show with this era of Roman Reigns on it, and it's just very hard to believe that this is the same guy we're seeing on SmackDown, you know, and the guy that's been WWE champion.
Yeah, and he got a boring chant in this match.
Yeah, and it's just
it's
crazy
between
to believe.
him and Big Show.
Yeah, it's crazy to believe that that's the same guy. You know, it's just
at the time that nobody was, and Big Show just wasn't over either. Like they just didn't want this, Matt. They didn't want.
And I mean, it wasn't a great match. It was not a great match. It just was what it was, and it ended in a count out of all things as well. So, which led to nowhere. It just led to a count out, and that was it.
Yeah, it just led to a count. Yeah, I mean, it certainly, the crowd certainly was not into it, and neither was I.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't think neither was Big Show or Reigns. It's just no one.
No, I don't think any of them. I think they all knew. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just falling on deaf ears all around.
I also wrote after this awkward Ambrose interview.
Yeah, I mean, any Ambrose segment is quite awkward anyway.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Dean Ambrose, yeah, he is what it is. Anyway,
we'll see him later in the main event.
Then we had Brie Bella versus Natalia.
They were doing some cheap angle with Tyson Kidd, some jealousy angle.
Yeah,
it was a good match. It was a good match. The match itself was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, saying that, like, this was like, I think I did read somewhere there was like a 6-minute match, and for a women's match in this era, that's fucking long. Like, really long for a women's match. So yeah, fair play. I just side note, I fucking can't stand Brie Bella's theme music. It drives me insane. So when it hit
that auto-tune,
the auto-tune Brie mode thing, and it drives me insane. And when it hit,
it really is grating.
Yeah, it's the exact word for it. It's grating. Yeah. Then we roll into an Ascension promo.
One of two Ascension promos.
Yeah, there were two. There's one before the main event, I think, as well.
There was two Ascension promos in one night for some reason, and they both seemed like they were exactly the same.
Yeah, they weren't very different from each other. And it's funny, like, this was a gimmick that I'm always almost quite surprised that it didn't get over.
It was. I liked them. Brad liked them. You know, a lot of people liked them, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with them. It just didn't work for whatever reason. It just didn't work. Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't work. Yeah. I don't know why. It should have. It just didn't work. Wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah.
But there it was. That was it. The Ascension were on the screen. The thing that I was looking the most forward to, though.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
Fucking, not Los Matadors, not El Torito, but their opponents, Golden Stardust.
Yeah, that's right, Golden Stardust.
I loved it. I love this. It made my day.
Forgot how
great Stardust really was.
Yes,
right.
Like,
I know,
for real, because I know how Cody feels about the gimmick. Great, whatever, but
I don't even believe him. I think secretly he knows how good it was, and he loves it just as much as we do. But we can't say that.
Yeah, exactly. I think Cody is a guy that, regardless of what it is he's doing, he he puts all of himself into it. Do you know what I mean? And with this gimmick, he put all of himself into it, and he played that fucking role so well, man. He was so good.
He was not. He, like you said, he put everything into it, and he made it believable in the same way. In the same way that, I mean, now granted, Stardust being a new character didn't have the same thing, but Mick Foley did it when he just took off his shirt and now he's Cactus Jack. Like the idea that the person can be lost.
Yeah.
The person, this person, this identity can truly be lost to the mind of another another creature inhabiting his body. I was like, you fucking made me believe it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see Cody Rhodes dressed up in makeup. I saw Stardust and Goldust.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
that's
exactly.
why I loved it. So that's why I love it so much. Is the true suspension of disbelief. You are another character. I'm fully invested.
Yeah, he really did give the impression that he was just unhinged, and he just he'd lost it. I think that's how they got to the Stardust gimmick, is that he just essentially just lost his mind, and I kind of want to go back and to see that actually, because I do remember the lead up to that gimmick and him changing into Stardust, and I actually kind of dug how they got there. But yeah, I think
I want to revisit. I think we need to revisit the top 10 Stardust matches.
Yeah. But yeah, I think
there may only be about 10 of them.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I mean, I think he just fucking, he was so good in that role, and yeah, I you know what's a fucking shame? You know what's a fucking shame is I would have absolutely loved to see a rivalry between Cody Rhodes and Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt would have tapped into all of that Stardust stuff. It would have been so good it would have. He's the perfect person to bring it all up, again. And it's such a shame we won't get that, obviously. But in a world
we'll get it with. But I think we'll get it with someone.
We'll get it with someone. Yeah. Someone,
because they really did stay. They really did kind of stay away from it. Like
they did, yeah.
I don't know how the fuck we got. Oh well, yeah, there it is. That's what that was. It was a tag team match.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. Let's keep it
nothing
moving.
to write home about in that match. Anyway.
No.
Fucking Ziggler versus Harper Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, it's easily the highlight.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to professional wrestling matches.
Yeah.
And just two guys given the time to have a great match.
And we had Harper did a little promo before the match as well, which I really, really liked. Just a little backstage promo, nothing crazy, but I loved Harper's little single run he had where he was Intercontinental Champion for a while and stuff. I loved that, man. I thought he was great. It was like a little kind of tangent away from the Wyatt family. He still kind of had the same gimmick, but it worked really well for him. And
they were, because was he truly set? That was
at this point
the brand split.
It wasn't the brand. The Wyatt family kind of just disbanded because
they just weren't. Yeah,
because of injuries.
They all had their
stuff.
individual thing. Oh right. Rowan was out on an injury.
Yeah,
right?
they just kind of phased out, and eventually they got back together, and that's when they brought Braun in, and that's when the Wyatt family is back with 4 members. So,
right.
But this is a little brief period where there was no Wyatt family.
Yeah, and this was also Ziggler's big return era too. Well, one of his many big returns, because he just recently before leaving had his NXT championship run, which was awesome. It's just you look at Ziggler 9 years ago and today, and he's still just as good.
For sure.
He's still just an incredible performer in the ring. Dolph Ziggler could be gone for a little while. He could still come back at any time and be considered a main event.
Oh yeah.
He could put himself in the main event at any point and be believable.
Totally. Yeah.
Definitely. That's how good he is.
He's definitely a kind of guy that you could hear his music hitting in the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? And coming out
100%.
to a massive pop kind of thing. So
100%.
I definitely don't think this is the last we ever seen of Ziggler in the WWE.
And there's always there's sometimes you got to leave. Sometimes you leave, learn a new move, and you come back. You know? Speaking of coming back, Piper's Pit was back.
Piper's Pit, yeah.
I don't know if this was Piper's Pit made he made his return to Monday Night Raw.
So I did look into this
special edition.
And so this is 7 months before he unfortunately passed away, and this was his very, very last segment in front of a crowd.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So he had one more little segment backstage at WrestleMania 31. Very, very quickly brief segment, but this was his very last proper segment, the very last ever edition of Piper's Pit. Everything. So
fuck.
Yeah, this was kind of crazy. Like that was that we kind of landed on this.
That kind of gave me some chills there.
That's kind of mad, right? It's kind of crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was promoting the U.S. title feud with Rusev and Ryback. And I was so into Ryback when he first was there. Like we've talked about this before. Like, he had the look, he had everything, but he didn't really want to. He didn't really want to do the things.
It did shock me. Actually, when he came out, I was like, well, fuck. Like, this is one of the loudest pops I've heard all night. Like,
oh, yeah, he was so over. I put that in the note. He was so over.
Yeah, same. I got my notes, too. I was like, he was that over? Like, I can't even believe it. Like, it's crazy.
And I think that, and it might have just been because people wanted something like, he was kind of alone at that point.
Yeah.
As far as the big muscle guy, the Scott Steiner guy, the Braun Breaker guy.
Yeah, like the Goldbergish kind of guy.
The Goldberg guy, like just big meathead, he was fucking cornbread meathead.
Yeah.
A year prior to that in NXT or whatever, he was Skip Sheffield. Yup.
Yep. Yeah.
And if he didn't, I don't know, man, he really had more potential, I think, and it just, for whatever reason, he got to this point with this U.S. title. This was like pretty much as far as he really got, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, he just, I don't know.
I think he got this. Maybe he got the U.S. title. He had the Intercontinental title at one point, and then he definitely had a little title feud with CM Punk for a little while. But then it all kind of fell to the wayside.
Oh, that's right. He did have a feud with Punk for the title.
Yeah. But two things that I got out of this segment. One being, obviously, I was shocked at how Ryback was over, and one other thing was a thing that I was going to make a note of at the very start of this episode was something that this segment made me realize. It's that in the last 10 years, WWE have really focused on the first W in their name, and that's world, because I feel like a lot of their TV used to be very America-centric, whereas in the modern day now, it's more of a international kind of. They're playing to the world, not just to the United States.
They're definitely making sure to bring up, as often as they can, bring up wrestlers mentioning, Drew McIntyre mentioning how he's away from home all the time, and even bringing up Becky, Becky being, one of the people, we've got high profile Japanese wrestlers,
exactly,
with the Damage Control and Shinsuke again, allowing Shinsuke to do his promos in Japanese
with subtitles, which he should have done the whole time.
So smart,
yeah.
It was,
But one thing that I watched this, and obviously being a guy that being someone that watches wrestling from the UK, there's two things actually that any wrestling fan over the UK will all relate to. One thing is the USA gimmicks over the years. We obviously just don't relate to them because we're not from America. So every time those segments happen over the years, we just switch off because it's like we have no affiliation. But I have noticed that they used to lay into that stuff a lot, but I just feel like they've focusing more on a global audience these days than they are just an American audience. That's what it feels.
Yeah, when you focus on things that can be relatable to anyone.
Yeah.
Regardless
Exactly.
of those things, then it's easy. It's easier to snag everyone when it's like, hey, this is about breathing. Yeah. Everybody breathes, so everybody can relate to this.
Right, exactly.
Let it never be said that the Natalya fart angle it wasn't at least relatable to everyone, because everyone farts.
I've completely forgot that was a thing.
Oh, that was a thing. That was a thing. Natalya, flatulent Natalya, was an angle, and it happened around this era too.
About this time, yeah, you're right. It's around this time.
Yeah, it really. This is 2014. I think this is probably right around this time.
Yeah.
Because as we'll see next, we're still deep in the Divas era.
Yeah.
With our Santa's Helper 6 Diva tag match. And I say that with, moving
Wow,
my
it's
shoulders
crazy how much I ignored this match, because I didn't even make note of it. I actually wouldn't have mentioned it if you hadn't.
I wrote that it happened.
Yeah, it happened.
Again, it's just one of those things where it is what it is for the time that it was.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
They were more. It is what it was. Like there's no real substance to it. It's just parading everybody out for a holiday themed match.
Yeah, exactly.
Holiday shenanigans, and
that's pretty much it.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah. Naomi, Alicia Fox, and Emma defeated Paige Cameron and Summer Rae. That was who was in it.
There you go.
Everybody got a few seconds.
Everybody got a few seconds.
Everybody got a couple of seconds, and people cheered. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It was pretty much it.
Then we had the incredibly fucking over gimmick that was Damien Mizdow.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking loved that gimmick, and it was so good to see it again. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another guy that goes all in on Miz's stunt double gimmick, doing the moves, replicating the moves outside of the ring.
On the outside of the ring, yeah.
I mean, the match. What are you talking? There's nothing to talk about the match, because we're just talking about Damien Sandow.
Mizdow. I mean, obviously we had the Usos in this match. It was Jay against the Miz, and it's crazy because like the Usos had been around for 4 years at this point, and they had only recently before this won their first tag team championships, which is kind of crazy to think that it took them that long to win their first tag titles. But yeah.
Anyhow,
then we head over to.
That'll certainly get clipped out.
Yeah, I thought that.
See, these are the things. If you've been listening long enough, you probably noticed that our episodes have actually been getting like quite shorter and more concise and more. We haven't actually gotten better at doing them. We've just been doing a little more editing.
That's so true. Yeah.
Because some people, I think some people want to hear us ramble for 2.5 hours nonstop, and other people just want to get to the point of what this episode is actually about.
I think people like a little bit of chit chat, because
I've heard,
like, for example,
a little bit of both.
That video you put out the other day of us talking about the seltzer, and doing the pop to the shops thing. Like, I've had a lot of people message me about that, and like,
oh yeah, they'd be like, that's just funny
because it's fun. And I think those little snippets at the start of
those are important. Yeah,
those the start of the show are important because they get
for our listeners to truly get who we are.
Yeah, and it kind of before we start talking about the wrestling and everything, it's kind of sit you down, get you comfortable, have a little bit of a laugh, and then you get
kick your slippies off.
Yeah, exactly.
Light a stogie if you smoke cigars and call them stogies. Get real comfortable.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the wrestling.
And then we'll yell about wrestling for hours. Oh man, yeah, but no, I mean I have gotten a few. I've gotten a few messages from some people about the episodes, which is nice that people are listening long enough that they want to comment about it.
Yeah.
So hey, yeah, it really is a tell us what you like kind of thing at this point. We're gonna ramble on and do whatever we want until. Well, we actually did. I was going to get to that. We'll get to that after the main event here. We'll finish the main event. We'll get to it after the main event. But we had a user suggestion that we're going to get to later on. So yeah, where did we leave off?
We're right at the main event right now.
No, before the main event was our second Ascension promo.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, another Ascension promo, just the same as the first, but different.
I think it was. I think it really was just. Maybe this was the time period where they knew that there was there's only some people are going to tune in for the beginning of the show, and then some people are going to tune in to the end. And
let's do this again.
They were really pushing the Ascension because they gave them 2 fucking promos when they weren't there, but I don't know what fucking happened.
And you know what? It kind of makes you think whether or not they were trying to revamp their tag division by having, on this show, there was a promo for the Ascension and the New Day on one show.
Yeah, like... Somebody tell us what the fuck happened with the Ascension. Why did it not work? Like what,
Yeah, it's
anyways,
a weird one. Then we go to the main event. Miracle and 34th Street fight, which is that match has kind of become a bit of a mainstay actually. Recently, over the years, I think they do one every year now, and I'm all here for it because it's just a lot of fun.
And I think it wasn't you, but when this week's Monday Night Raw starts off with a Miracle on 34th Street fight.
I love it. It's just like they do the Trick or Treat fight as well. Like those things are always fun. And this was no different. It was a lot of fun.
It was. Yeah,
I loved it.
Bray Wyatt cut a promo before the fight. That was a typical Bray Wyatt promo.
And I fucking It's
we can't go play by play because I didn't mark down play by play. It was a gimmick street fight that we love. That's the shit that you love. The only notes I had was, Bray Wyatt won, but we still got Dean Ambrose finishing the night off, but Dean gets the feel good ending with Ambrose putting him through the table.
Yeah.
Everything you want, you got.
Yeah,
and
pretty much.
And we leave everybody happy.
And it's kind of crazy that the Shield had been broken up, I don't know how long at this point, but not too long. And we kind of had Seth open the show, Reigns in the middle of it, and Ambrose finishing it. So it's kind of nuts.
How about it?
Yeah.
And with just the star power that everybody, even the Reigns Big Show thing, like Big Show was a former champion. It's still a big deal. Rollins was out there with Cena and Hogan, like that's the huge deal.
Yeah.
And Ambrose is ending it with with the gimmick match and the feel good moment. Like,
yeah,
everybody in the Shield was where they were at that time and doing what they were doing. Overall, I think it was a great holiday episode. Like some of the stuff was a little long.
Some of the matches was a little long. Some of it fell kind of flat, but it was.
Yeah.
You can't judge a Christmas episode too much because they're always going to be a bit more hokey,
Yeah, I mean you can, but we can judge it more. We had Stardust, so it's automatically I loved it. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's that. I mean, that is it for our Christmas holiday Christmas episode of what is it, 2014?
2014, yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
This week's Christmas episode was fantastic. We can't really talk about it while we're recording since you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I can't really get into that right now, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was fantastic. So if you haven't seen it by now, obviously you're wasting time listening to us talk about an old episode. You should be at least watching the newest one first. Then go back and watch this old one. Speaking of going back and watching old episodes, though, yeah, let's. I have to pull it up unless you've already got it pulled up.
What's that? The request.
We had a.
So we've had a message from.
Listener.
I'm gonna do my very best to pronounce his surname, and I do apologize, but we got a message on Facebook from a Nick Opelwowski.
Nick, we'll just call him Nick.
Just call him Nick.
We
got a message on Facebook. Yeah. Let's try that again. We got a message on Facebook from Nick. And he's
shout out to Nick.
Shout out to Nick. He's given us a request for a show that he would like us to look back on, and I think it's actually a really fucking good idea for a show for two reasons. So first of all, it's great because it's a show that was held in the UK. It was Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall from 1992, which I have checked is what's it called? Yeah, it's called Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall. It's from 1992, and so it's kind of cool that this is obviously an American company in the UK, so it kind of relates to both of us here.
Yeah.
And another really cool thing is that this is I got this event on VHS tape in the late 90s. It's one of the very first it's one of the very first pieces of wrestling media I ever purchased from a shop.
That's wild. That's just a wild coincidence.
I have not watched this in fucking years, so it's a great event actually probably for me to watch because there'll be a lot on there that I'll be super familiar with it because I haven't watched it since I was a kid though.
Yeah. And the second thing was
that was the second thing.
Oh, that was the second thing. Oh, so neither one of those things were the thing that I was going to say too.
Oh, okay, go for it.
So we got a third thing. Well, because he also requested we do it as a watch along, as a live watch along.
Yeah, true, he did. Yeah.
So which is something we have not done. You and I haven't done that on air, but we used to do that regularly during the pandemic when we would do NXT watch-alongs.
Yeah.
So I think that would also be pretty interesting because I think it's awesome. Oh, excuse me. Oh, fuck.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus. It's all this generic raspberry lime seltzer from Giant. It is carbonated, and it gives me gas a little bit. I'll cut that out a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. Burps are funny. Everybody burps.
Everybody burps.
Everybody burps.
I don't know when we're gonna do this watch along. We'll have to figure that out.
It'll definitely be in the new year because it can't be next week, and next week is our last episode of the year.
Yeah, and is that what we do? Are we gonna do the recap episode of the year that next week? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the year in review. I think a year in review.
Yeah, let's do a year in review and a bit of a nod to.
With the bonus bonus nod to Iron Sheik. I think that makes perfect sense. It's the end of the year. Yeah. There's nothing else. Well, there is a SmackDown, which means something. But you know what? That's so close. I think it's going to be a review. It's going to be.
It's fine. We can get the best.
I don't think.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine to review the entire year. And if something miraculously unbelievable happens on the 29th,
I'm sure we'll talk about it on the first episode of 2024.
Yeah. All right, there we go. So next week was going to be our year in review, not just from the podcast beginning, but the whole year.
Yeah. Exactly.
It will also be our 20th podcast episode.
Oh shit! Look at that. few more away, and we're in the top 1%, I think, or something like that, because 21 podcasts is the.
I thought 21 podcasts is the top 1%. That'll be so. Our first podcast of the year will inevitably break us into the
top 1%,
into the upper echelon.
Yeah, that's right. We're up there with the best.
We'll get top 1% podcasts.
Yeah. Tattooed.
Tattoos. Yeah. I could do that. I could actually do that. I got my tattoo machines out, and I'm picking up supplies again to potentially come out of tattoo retirement.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, we could literally get some matching Punks Talk Wrestling.
We get some PTW tattoos on the go.
PTW tattoos. Yeah, we should. I mean, we could just get the belt. Just get the
Yeah, the little logo. Yeah, that'd be great.
Which is I will I'll DIY pat myself on the back for that logo.
It's fucking great. I fucking love that shit.
Pretty good work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of logo, you still have there was something that I modified, and I wasn't going to tell you about it. I was going to wait until you noticed it, but it's been 20 episodes now, and you haven't noticed it. So I'll just tell you that there's something that I modified.
On what?
To make it a little more British.
On the logo?
On the logo. From the original. Well, I'll just leave you with that. I'll leave you to think about it.
You son of a bitch.
You know what I took the things from. So
of course,
look at the source material and see if something looks a little more British.
Oh, the cricket bat. I did see that. But wait, hold on a fucking second. I've only just
changed
I knew that was a cricket bat. Oh fuck, sorry. I knew that. Okay. I knew, but it never clicked in my mind.
It never clicked that you actually.
I just saw a cricket bat.
I just changed it without telling. Yeah, I changed the baseball bat to a cricket bat.
I did not notice that. Yes, I did, but I didn't. That's amazing.
It didn't register.
Yeah, it didn't register. You son of a bitch.
Well, there it is. It's the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, fucking hell. That's why I didn't bring it up.
There was another. I had another idea too about modifying the logo.
Yeah.
Because QR codes are such a big thing now. Taking the center part out and making the center a QR code that links.
I think we could definitely have a
version
that
would work well
of
for
it.
A sticker.
That would work well for a sticker. If it was a sticker, then 100%. That's what would be in the middle as a QR code. That's perfect. Yeah.
That's mainly what it is. So that might be. I'll work on that too. I'll get a version. Because we'll need to get a like a link tree or something that we want to send everybody to.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good. Yeah, I'm knocking everything over today. I'm not. What the fuck's wrong with me?
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
Next, we know what we're doing next week. Also follow us, like and subscribe. Follow us, click the follow button on the on the podcast for wherever you're listening to this from. Heart it on Spotify. Follow it on Spotify. If you're an Apple, do whatever. You click the button that says you love it on Apple and leave a review.
Yeah.
Those things matter, apparently. And even if it's a bad review, like I'll take criticism over silence.
I'll take it.
We'll take the boring chance or this podcast sucks. If you
please retire chance,
listen long enough to make an informed decision. Like you'll definitely have to listen to all of them to give us a negative review.
Yeah.
We only allow negative reviews with sourced like timestamp of the episode in question and what it was that you want to complain about, so that we know you're actually listening and you hate listening to it. Because that, love that too. There's a Patreon, which is where all the unedited episodes for our patrons will go.
That's where they are.
But we're gonna, as we want, we'll throw stuff up there
as we progress.
As we get more interest, we'll do more when more people want us to do more.
Exactly.
So tell us, like Nick did. just fucking tell us. Message us on
Shoot us
our
a message,
socials and
send
tell
a
us
comment,
what you
put
want.
a comment on one of our posts, and let us know. We are always game for...
Peer into our windows at night and like be really creepy about it if you want to get arrested. But,
I mean, you'll be... I'm like 3 stories up. You already struggle to do that with me.
You'll need like some either Spider-Man or some really tall ladders.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, do those things. And the TikTok, and there's a TikTok. It's at Punks Talk Wrestling as well. And there's a Threads at Punks Talk Wrestling as well. They're all at Punks Talk Wrestling. Everywhere there's a social media. Pretty much everywhere you can find it.
And if you struggle with that, just Google Punks Talk Wrestling. I'm sure you'll figure that out.
If you're listening, if you're hearing it, you already know. If you've gotten this far, you found us. So thanks again. But tell other people about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
I think that's it. You're right. I think that was it.
Yeah, I think that is.
Yep.
So Chris is running late. He said he'll be on in 5 minutes, dude. And that was 15 minutes ago. And Chris is a bass player. Like, bass players are supposed to be the ones that are always on time. I'm a fucking singer. I'm the one that's supposed to be not on time. Well, I might as well get my Icebreakers Ice Cubes cinnamon gum, because I got my gum already. You know what else I got that Chris is missing? Yep. That's my generic raspberry lime seltzer. The official seltzer of Punks Talk Wrestling. I'm just going to leave this rolling. I've even got the intro already written. Oh, there he is. There.